What's good, YouTube? Back again with another video. Today's a little different. Today I'm going to show you how to cut your own custom mouse grips. So today I have the Lamzu Thorn Fanatic Edition, and it's just a bright orange mouse, so it's going to let you see pretty easily. Now the reason why I wanted to make this video is because a lot of people have been using mouse grips nowadays. Some people don't like it because it changes the dimensions of your mouse, which I just don't agree that much because you can just see how thin the tape is. And with grips like the Pulsar Super Grip being so good over such a long period of time, I really recommend this, especially when a mouse such as the Thorn itself has a smooth coating, or basically doesn't have a coating. So it benefits a lot over longer periods of time if you have sweat in your hands, if you have the grip tapes on it. Now if you look here again, the only grip I really cut was the right side grip. So you might be curious as to why I'm calling it cutting your own grips. Well, you can still save money this way, and I'll tell you how. So the two supplies that I use, the Super Grips, the reason why I use the Super Grips is because they have superb grip, as the name suggests, and you can get these uncut sheets and these pre-cut sheets, which I recommend. This is the pre-cut one, and the reason why is because these on sale are $7 each, or $10 each not on sale, and that's $20. And if you see, I've cut two right side grips, and I still have room for at least two more, maybe three more. And then with these, I use three of these, two on the triggers, one on the side, the left side. And there's three, and then one more set of three, that's four. So you can make 4 sets of grips with these for $20. Whereas if you buy pre-cut grips for a specific mouse, that's gonna run you $10 and you can't use it on other mice anyways. Whereas at least for these long squares or these rectangles, I can move these from this mouse to this mouse, no problem. The only problem is you lose a bit of the stickiness of the adhesive, but it'll last a few switches. And the other problem is that you do collect a bit of dust removing them and reapplying them to other mice. And then the last point, like I said, the grips are really good and they've been lasting me months. I haven't switched them on this mouse that I've been using for months, and they do lose a bit of grip over time, but not much. And I do take a napkin with some warm water on it, and then you can rub off the oil that's coming from your hands and making it lose grip. So these last longer than any other grip I've tried. I think I used to use the BTL grips with like the herringbone texture on it, and those were really good, and then they just go to shit very fast, like within a month. Same thing with Corepad grips. So yeah, the Pulsar grips are just the longest lasting grips. I know other companies are starting to copy them, but this will apply to that too, and the fact that they sell these little pre-cut rectangles is the best part about it. So you're going to need some supplies, like I said. This is the pre-cut one Super Grip from Pulsar. This is the uncut set from Pulsar. You're going to want some kind of sharp knife. I have a hobby knife here. You can use an X-Acto knife. This is optional, but you want to file because I file the corners where your hands might touch. This is what I'm talking about, this top edge here. It shouldn't touch you, but in the case that it does, you can file on this corner and then it'll feel very smooth. You'll need a board to cut and then some painter's tape, and lastly a pen. Now you can like switch some of these. Maybe if you have like a surface you can cut on, you don't need a cutting board. Like I said, hobby knife, you can just use an X-Acto knife. Pen, pencil, painter's tape is pretty useful here. I'll show you in a minute. Also, I didn't mention this, but ignore that these are cut because I was experimenting with them. But yeah, so first things first, let's get the easy part out of the way. You can just put these rectangles where your fingers touch for your thumb and your two index fingers, your middle finger and your index finger. Now the reason why I use these rectangles is because you don't need to be as precise, so you shouldn't waste your precious surface area with the uncut on these. Just use the uncut on the right side where, you know, this right side is a lot more variable in terms of how you grip the mouse, and I feel like it's more dynamic while you play games. Like your ring finger and pinky finger are changing positions all the time, so you want to cover more surface area there. Whereas I feel like your index finger, middle finger, your trigger fingers, and your thumb are pretty constant. You know, maybe you go to hit a side button, but then you come back to the same spot. That's why I kind of experimented with these smaller pieces, because I was trying to get 2 squares where I put my ring and pinky finger, but I just found that, you know, those positions, the positions of those fingers are more dynamic while you play, like I said. So yeah, easy part out the way. Let's just put these rectangles where I put my trigger fingers. Just grip the mouse, kind of relax, get a feel for it. And if you look, it's not completely symmetrical. That's because I'm kind of lining up where I put my fingers on the mouse in the first place. You don't want to do something that doesn't align with your own grip. Now, if you're kind of OCD, then it'll look kind of bad, but trust me, I'm not looking at where the tape is when I play games. Lastly, the thumb, and already more than halfway there. You just have the hard part now. This already does a lot too, so honestly, if you're not that annoyed by the grip of your mouse, you could just stop here. When a mouse has a really good coating and shape, then I don't even put this thumb one, I just put the trigger ones. Something like the GPX, that's how I would tape it. Last part, I guess you can already tell where I'm going with this one because I already have some painter tape that I didn't remove from here. So this is the one we have to cut. So our first step is not actually going to do anything with the tape, but we are going to use painter's tape to kind of get a shape of the side of the mouse. So what you're going to do is start peeling the painter's tape and then look on the side of your mouse. And most mice have this little crease, right, where the base meets the wall of the mouse. And we're going to line up our tape there and then use the flat edges to our advantage because, as you can probably see here, I cut with the flat edge of the tape. We can take advantage of that and then get a perfect bottom of the tape. Not that it matters too much. And as you see, once I cut this side, then I don't really have any flat edges left. I'll have to cut them myself, but it's not too difficult to cut a straight edge when I have the tools, and then I'll just need a ruler or something with a flat edge to cut it flat. Now with this, you kind of have the freedom to make the shape however you want. You can go further back if you want. I don't need to go that far back because my fingers don't actually grip up that much. And while this is kind of hard, you kind of want to start gripping the mouse to get a feel of like how much tape you're going to actually need. Now to start, all you're going to do is trace this crease right here. This crease is going to be like where the click meets the sidewall. And then from there, you're just going to draw a straight line across, just kind of guessing how much space you're going to need. Okay, that was kind of messy. The thorn, the top corner of it is kind of tricky, but as you can see, the deep line, you can still make a sense of where I'm going to need to cut. And then like I said, for the rest of the parts, or rest of the back, you're just going to kind of grip the mouse, get kind of like a guess of where you're going to need. I'm going to only need it till probably here where my pinky is. So I'll just cut around it just so it looks prettier and just to make sure I don't miss any surface area that I'll need. From here, you're just kind of guess like a aesthetically pleasing shape, unless you're scuffed and you don't care, which honestly I respect you for. So there you go, that's a pretty good looking shape. Maybe this curve is too curvy here. Again, it doesn't matter that much. Now what you're gonna do is just take this off. Very simple. Now you're gonna get your cutting board. Mind you, I already have some crab on here. Don't worry about that for me, please. Then you're just gonna take this piece, and then like I said, use the edges to your advantage. Line up this edge with the bottom edge of the tape, or whatever edge you have available. If it's fresh, you got any edge, right? Kind of use the tape roll to flatten it out. But as you can see, this part is finished. This is pretty easy. Now, because of the way we traced in the crease of the mouse itself right over here, when you cut, you want to bias towards the inside of the tracing because you traced in the crease itself, if that makes sense, right? You technically traced right above where you want it. So you can just go ahead and follow your line from here. Just apply a lot of pressure so you get through all the tape and the bottom 3M paper. But don't do it so much where you're like shaking and then making it kind of ugly. But then again, like it's not going to be perfect, but you can fix it a bit with the filing we're going to do later. This is optional again, so. Okay, so that's that. And as you can see, I was kind of rotating the tape and the cutting board instead of moving the knife like this. I find that just a bit more precise. Then all you need to do is first remove the painter's tape. And then from here, this is kind of optional, but you see like the shape isn't perfect up there, so you could smooth the edges down. The reason why I like to file is because in the case that this does end up like touching your fingers here where you grip the mouse, you can feel that corner a bit. So you're just going to barely file it down where it might touch your hand. But it's not even that much. It's not even significant. Like I said, this is an optional step. You see, you're just trying to help that transition. You can barely even see it from the corner to the side. Then after that, all you have to do is take off the backing 3M tape and then just line it up to where you traced on the mouse. Okay, there you go. Like As you can see, it's not perfect, but you know, it just gets the job done. Doesn't need to be perfect, you know, just in case this touches you, then I sanded it down already and you're good to go. So, you know, companies like Lamzu don't have good coatings on their mice, but you don't have to worry about that anymore if you use this method. If you already use grips in the first place, like I said, you know, BTL grips, Corpads grips, they really don't have anything against Pulsar grips because these are just so good and grippy and they last longer, even with sweaty hands like mine. And again, the fact that they offer an uncut and cut version, you can kind of combo them together like I am to save money. But yeah, thanks for watching. Good luck. Save your money. Peace.